All right, so you sent us a bunch of stuff from RoleCatcher about freight transport dispatchers.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a career guide,
Yeah.
even some stuff about like their AI tools.
Right.
So it seems like we're really trying to get a handle on this whole career path, right? Not just like, scratch the surface.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of a deep dive.
Yeah.
Like, we can really go from like, what even is that?
Right.
Right? To like all these nuances of this job that most people probably never think about,
Yeah.
even though it probably impacts them every day,
Totally. And the guide it's not messing around.
Yeah.
It's super comprehensive. So just so we're all on the same page, like, what does a freight transport dispatcher actually DO all day?
Okay.
Because the guide uses this phrase like ensuring smooth communication.
Right.
And to me, that makes it sound like a lot more than just like telling the truck drivers where to go.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're not just like a voice on a CB radio, like, go left, go right.
Right.
It's so much more than that. I think of them more like the central nervous system almost for this whole transportation network.
No idea.
So they're juggling all these different things like the drivers and the shipments and the deadlines, and they're making sure that everything is like flowing smoothly.
So instead of like conducting an orchestra, they're conducting like a symphony of semi-trucks.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not just semi-trucks either.
Oh, okay.
Because the guide mentions that, they often work with different modes of transport.
Okay.
So it could be trucks, it could be trains, it could be airplanes, cargo ships, like the whole shebang.
Wow. Okay, so that online order that you placed that like magically shows up at your doorstep,
Right.
a freight transport dispatcher might have like made that happen.
Yeah, most likely. Like they would be deciding like, okay, is it faster to ship it by air? Or is it more economical to put it on a train and then a truck for that last little bit?
Right.
So they're doing a lot of that strategic decision making.
Okay, wow. So that is way more complex than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And speaking of complex, like the skills needed for this job,
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you'd expect organization and logistics.
of course.
But the guide really emphasizes customer service, which I was not expecting.
Right, because yeah, you need that logistical mind.
Yeah.
But you're also dealing with people all the time.
Oh,
You've got the drivers, you've got the clients, the suppliers. Things go wrong.
sure.
There are delays.
Right.
And the dispatcher has to be able to like negotiate and problem solve and keep everybody in the loop.
So they're like diplomacy ninjas.
Exactly.
But instead of negotiating like international treaties or whatever, they're negotiating delivery deadlines and traffic jams.
That's a great way to put it.
All right.
Yeah, it's all about finding a solution that works for everyone, which
Yeah.
requires a lot of communication
Right.
and people skills,
Okay.
for sure.
And we can't forget about technology in all of this.
Right.
Like, this isn't your grandpa's dispatching job. The guide mentions GPS tracking and fleet management software.
Oh, yeah. It's high tech.
It sounds pretty intense.
It is. It's really changing the game.
Wow.
Now dispatchers are using this really sophisticated software to track shipments in real time.
Okay.
They're optimizing routes, like for fuel efficiency. They're even communicating with drivers who are like, across the country.
Wow, that's wild.
It's amazing.
So it's like this blend of old school organizational skills,
Yes.
but you need like a really strong grasp of modern technology.
Yeah, you have to stay updated.
That's fascinating.
It is, because it's constantly evolving. You can't just like
Right.
learn it once and then you're good.
Right.
You have to constantly be learning.
Speaking of learning and growing, I thought it was cool how the guide breaks down the different career stages.
Okay.
For a freight transport dispatcher, it's like a roadmap.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can start with, entry-level tasks
Yeah.
like scheduling and communication. And then as you get more experience, you can move into those more strategic roles.
Right. And they even have like these little example profiles.
Yes.
For each stage, it's like you're peeking into the mind
Exactly.
of somebody who's like a few years ahead of you on this path, which I thought was pretty cool.
And that's what makes it so valuable.
Yeah.
It's not just the job title, but it's
Yeah.
like you can actually see like a potential trajectory.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. And speaking of navigating this career path,
Right.
this RoleCatcher guide, they mentioned some pretty cool AI tools
Okay.
that can like,
Mm.
give job seekers like, edit,
Yeah.
You got this thing called RoleCatcher. Capture, have you heard of this?
I have, yeah.
So you like basically you could just grab job postings from like anywhere online
Yeah.
with one click.
It's like a super powered job board. It just like aggregates it all.
Yes, you're not like stuck in the black hole of
Yeah,
endless
nice.
scrolling.
Yeah, it's like you see all the opportunities in one place.
Yes, exactly. And get this.
What?
They've got this AI that like analyzes job descriptions.
Wow.
And then it helps you tailor your resume so that it'll like stand out.
So it's doing the work for you.
It's like a secret weapon for your job hunt.
Exactly. It's like you don't have to guess anymore,
Right,
you know, about what skills they're looking for.
Right, because sometimes you're like, is this the right thing to highlight?
Exactly.
Or should I be focusing on this other thing? Yeah, okay, so
It takes out the guesswork.
we've talked about the skills, the tech, the career progression.
Mm-hmm.
But like, let's zoom out for a sec.
Okay.
Why should we even care
Right.
about freight transport dispatchers? Like,
Yeah.
what's the big picture impact here?
I mean, honestly, they're like the unsung heroes of our economy. Think about it.
Yeah,
Everything that you buy,
right.
that you use, that you rely on,
Mhm.
it's all moving through a system
Yeah.
that these people are like guiding in a way.
So they're like the stage crew
Yes.
of like a massive production and like nobody in the audience even knows they're there.
Yeah, and you don't really think about it
Right.
until something goes wrong.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, wait a minute, where is this?
Yeah, where's my stuff?
Where's my stuff?
I
Exactly.
need it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, their work really impacts
It does, yeah.
all of us.
It does. It really
Even if we
does.
don't see them, like we feel it.
Exactly.
So like when a delivery like shows up on time or you
Mhm.
get a really good deal online, like a freight transport dispatcher might have, like
Yeah, it's true.
had something to do with that.
They did. Yeah, their efficiency impacts prices.
Okay.
Like the guide was saying, like a 10% improvement in like route efficiency could be like a 5% reduction in shipping costs.
Wow, really? I didn't know it like that direct of a correlation.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Huh. So it's not just about like getting something
Right.
from point A to point B. It's about doing it in a way that like makes sense for
Exactly.
everybody and for everything.
To the bottom line for the environment. Yeah.
And for the environment, right?
Yes, definitely.
Because if you're optimizing routes,
Yeah.
you're not just
Yeah, you're using less fuel,
saving time and money. You're saving, fuel.
less emissions.
Wow, it's like they're on the front lines of like
I know, right?
sustainable logistics,
They are.
and they don't even realize it.
They don't even know.
And it's pretty cool just by like making these like smart decisions
And true. Yeah.
about how things are moved around. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they can make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Yeah, it is. So we've got this one role
Mm-hmm.
that like nobody really thinks about,
Right.
but it's a crucial part
It is.
of like so many different things.
With everything.
It really makes you appreciate like
Right.
how complex all these systems are
It is.
that we
yeah.
just like totally take for granted.
To-
What about like the future of this?
Okay.
Because there's all this talk about like automation in trucking.
Right.
I'm curious, like how is that going to impact
Right.
freight transport dispatchers?
That's the question, isn't it?
Right.
It's like, will they even be needed?
Yeah, because on the one hand, you can see how like automation could really change
It's
things.
changed the game.
Yeah, like if a truck can drive itself,
Right.
do you really need a person
To tell it where to go.
to plan the route? Yeah.
It's a valid question.
Right.
It's-
But then again, like you still have to
You still have to coordinate it all.
coordinate all those automated vehicles,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Someone's got to manage that whole flow of goods.
Exactly.
Make sure the self-driving trucks are like
Being utilized.
being used effectively, right?
Right.
And like, what if something goes wrong?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's where the human element is
Right.
still essential. Like,
right.
it might not be about plotting routes on a physical map anymore.
Yeah. But it's going to be about like managing this complex system,
Right.
troubleshooting when things go wrong,
Right.
which they inevitably
They
do.
always do. Yeah.
And maybe even like dealing with some of the ethical considerations
That's interesting.
of like an automated world.
Okay, so maybe it's less about like the role disappearing and
Mhm.
more about it like changing, evolving.
Exactly.
Yeah, so instead of like planning a route for one truck, they're
Right.
overseeing like
The whole thing.
the whole flow
Yeah.
of like automated transportation.
That's a good way to put it.
Kind of like, I don't know.
Like an air traffic controller almost.
Yeah, like an air traffic controller.
for the automated transportation system of the future.
Right. Like that is,
Yeah.
it's not micro anymore.
It's macro.
It's macro, yeah.
Big picture.
That's really interesting. And it highlights something like
It's that.
this isn't a field that's going to just like vanish
No.
overnight. You know what I mean?
Right. Like it might change, it might adapt,
Yeah, it'll evolve.
but the need for people who can
who can do it.
Who can do it, yeah.
Who have those skills, who
Mhm.
can, yeah,
Who can wrangle it all.
like, or orchestrate the movement of goods.
Yes.
That's not going away.
It's not going anywhere.
If anything, it's just going to become
It's going to get more important.
more important.
As technology advances.
Yeah, as technology advances.
It's only going to become more important.
So for someone listening right now who's like,
Yeah.
man, this actually sounds kind of cool.
Right.
Like, what's the takeaway for them?
I think don't be scared of the automation, you know?
Right.
This isn't a career to shy away from.
Right.
Because robots are going to take over, whatever.
Right.
Like, it's a career to, like,
Right.
embrace it because of the automation.
Okay.
Because the things that make a good dispatcher now,
Yeah.
like being able to communicate, being able to problem solve,
Oh.
being adaptable, those are the things that are going to be
Even more important in the future as this role evolves.
right. So it's almost like a future-proof career in a way,
I think so. Yeah.
because the tools might change, the tech might change,
Right.
but like we still got to move stuff around.
We do.
That's not going anywhere.
It's not.
If anything, it's going to be like even more important.
Exactly.
I'm actually surprised by how much I've learned
Me too.
about something that like I never even thought about, you know?
I know. It's like this hidden world.
It's a hidden world, but it's like
Yeah.
we're all impacted by it.
It impacts all of us every day.
It really does. It really does.
And we just don't even think about it.
Yeah, like we didn't even get into
Right.
the global supply chain, really, or
Right.
the impact of like drones
Autonomous vehicles.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like where is it all going?
It makes you wonder, like, where is it all going?
It's so interesting.
It is. It is.
It's exciting.
Yeah, well, on that note, big thank you to you
Thank you.
for going on this deep dive with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to everybody listening out there.
Yes.
Hopefully you found this
As interesting as we did.
as fascinating as we did.
Yeah.
Keep those questions coming.
Yes.
You never know where our curiosity will lead us next.
Exactly.
We'll see you next time.